My name is Christopher Quadras. I'm a Water Utility Maintenance Worker 1. I have been working with the City of La Verne for 5 years. Some general responsibilities of my job are valve maintenance, sewer maintenance, replacing water services, and valves. The certificate that I currently have is a Distribution 1 license, working towards my Distribution 2. Something that interested me in coming into the water department is having a want to help people, and replacing water services and repairing leaks fulfill that. In our distribution system, we have 2 different types of valves, a gate valve and a butterfly valve. They are important because in case of an emergency, they help us isolate specific sections of our water main. We have 5,500 valves in our water distribution system. 1,500 of those valves are for fire hydrants, and 4,000 of those valves are for the distribution system. So this is what an example of a valve in the street would look like. This is specifically for a fire hydrant. We use this truck to exercise a valve. What that means is we turn the valve either all the way clockwise or counterclockwise to exercise the valve up and down to ensure that the valve works, meaning that it shuts off the fire hydrant in case of an emergency. We perform valve maintenance every day. We turn up to 25 to 30 valves, and checking if they're working correctly, getting the proper amount of turns, is so that we can see if a valve is broken and needs to be replaced. We respond to various types of leaks. We can be called and help a customer if they have a leak on their side of the line. We respond to a mainline leak, digging out the main line, exposing it, and then putting a repair clamp over that to stop the leak. And also another leak we respond to is a service line leak, kind of what we're doing here, replacing the whole line, or if it's already a different type of material, copper, then we could possibly put a repair clamp on that. It's smaller than what you would use for a main line to stop that leak. So here we're going to demonstrate what a 1-inch copper water leak would look like. This is above ground, but usually a repair like this, it's underneath the ground, and we'd have to dig it up, expose the whole pipe, and slip this repair clamp over the water leak. So right now I'm going to slide over this sleeve, and it's going to go over where the water is coming out of. It's important to put the sleeve in the center of where the water is coming out of. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this clamp over the sleeve and tighten the nut to compress the clamp to make sure the water stops coming out. Everything's nice and tight, and now the water has stopped coming out of our pipe. We as the City of La Verne, as water utility workers, we respond to leaks 24/7. There's a standby rotation. One person is on standby 24/7, 365 days of the year. The response time for something like that could look up to, at the most, 30 minutes responding to the location where we're being called to address and assess whatever we got called out for. So here is our excavation site where we're going to replace our water service. The very first thing we have to do is call 811 and get a USA. So that's called a underground service alert, and that helps us know where the other utilities are underneath the ground. So right here you have the orange TV. That's like your internet for your home. And then back over there where the backhoe tire is, that's the red markings. That's Edison, so your electrical lines. And then the yellow here, that's gas. And that just lets us know if there's any utilities in the way of where we're going to dig our hole. In this specific cul-de-sac, we've had a few leaks pop up that we've had to replace the service from plastic to copper. The reason we change it from plastic to copper, because copper has more longevity and the pipe durability, and we're going to start scheduling replacing whatever plastic lines are left in this cul-de-sac to prevent any more leaks from occurring. So on this side of our water service line, we have our meter that registers whatever water usage is being used. Javier is gonna disconnect our water meter, and then he's gonna make a cut on the plastic 1-inch line so that it can be replaced And then after that, he's gonna throw in a steel cable that's gonna be pushed through the existing plastic line so that we can pull our new copper service line. Javier just showed us throwing in our steel cable so that we can now feed our brand new copper line underneath the ground. This steel cable, it's attached with a Chinese finger trap that holds the copper so it doesn't separate, and it also has a torpedo attached, splits the plastic and allows the copper to be pulled underneath the ground. We just finished pulling our new copper line and made the connection to the corporation stop. This is what the old one looks like, and we replaced it with one that looks just like this. So now we have our connection, it's all ready to go. Now we are gonna charge the line to flush out any air or any debris that could possibly be in our copper line. Now it's all ready to go to provide the customer back in water. Something very important that we do when we replace our plastic service lines with copper, as you can see right here, we place a gooseneck bend in the material in the copper line so that when if in fact an earthquake occurs, it doesn't pull that line right out of our main line and create a leak. Another benefit, the copper line has a lot more resiliency. Heat and cold doesn't really affect it, and there's less chance of the copper pipe leaking in the long run. Here in the water business, we have what we call a busy season. A lot of times that's in the summer when we have a lot more leaks that are prominent throughout the city. That can mean service line leaks, main line leaks. That's all dependent on the type of material that's in the ground. So if we have plastic, now it's leaking because of the contraction and expansion of the pipe depending on if it's hot and cold. It also depends on what kind of main line is in the ground. Different types of material corrode at different time rates, so that is a huge determining factor as to when and if we are going to have a leak. So right here we have an asphalt patch. This was placed down after we had replaced the water service, and about a month or so after, the street department came and put this fresh patch of asphalt here, making this part of the street look nice and pretty again.
My name is Eugene Perez. I am a water utility worker, and I am currently running the sewers, and I've been with the city for 8+ years. The general responsibilities of my job currently are to maintain the sewer system, to make sure that there's proper flow, to make sure there's no current backups. Also, I do help out with the water department, reading meters, or to help out with leaks. I completed all my classes through Citrus College for water technology, as well as my D2 and my Class A. Here in City of La Verne, the lines are clay pipes, as well as the newer lines, which will be PVC. They are 8-inch in diameter. Depending on the subdivision, they can be anywhere from 50+ years or how old your community is. The sewer lines in the City of La Verne are all gravity fed, which basically start at the top of the city and pushes it down all the way to the county lines. A water line, it's filled with water, and that's what is providing water service to these homes. As for sewer, it's taking away that water from your drains flowing down to the end of the line, which is a trunk line that goes into the county line. To maintain the sewer lines, right here we have a vector, and the front portion of that vector is our jetter. That jetter has water which we use high pressure from 1200 PSI to 2000 PSI depending on the location. And that cleans these lines from debris, from solids, and it pulls it down the sewer line. On a typical day, what we do is we anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 feet depending on what is inside that line and what we need to do to clean that line to have it flow properly. Typically on a Monday through Thursday schedule, we will jet 3 days out of that week. And after jetting, what we'll do is we'll CCTV, we'll camera those lines to make sure that a lot of the debris is replenished from that line. We also check for obstructions and cracks to make sure that the lines do not need to be repaired. So in a backup procedure, what we do is we'll gather up this Vector truck. We'll also have a crew that will put the sandbags around the obstruction of whatever waste is coming out. We'll put it into one little isolated area while we take this Vector right here. We'll unclog whatever's clogged in the line, whether it's grease, any sort of solid. And once that's done, we use the suction part of this Vector to clean up any debris or any mess that's left. We do find a lot of stuff, and it's just when you look down there, you could just see a pile of stuff. And you know, we have a basket, and that basket, what we do is it's got a little shovel, and we just keep shoveling it in and pulling all the debris out. And what we do is we see the stuff right there. We either sift through it and find it, or it's like, you know, you see cars, you see marbles, you just see a bunch of different things. And a lot of the stuff isn't, you know, cheap stuff. So what tends to cause a sewage backup is grease and solids, and occasionally we have roots as well. We have paper towels, and a number one thing too, wipes. Even though it may say that they're flushable wipes, yes, you are able to flush them, but it doesn't mean that they're going to dissipate in your line. They can grab onto any root and then eventually cause a backup. What we do is we have like a quarterly to a half a year hotspot cleaning, and we target our businesses, our local businesses area, which is mainly downtown and foothill area, and we'll run those lines, clear them from the grease or any sort of debris that could potentially back up these businesses. They could help out by not pouring any grease down their lines, or help with a little degreaser while they're cleaning floors. That will help out with clearing up the debris or any sort of grease that might be picking up in our lines. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you guys learned a lot from our water and sewer department.